Hi, it's Sam here from Future Riders. Today I've got the newest and largest model of the Amped range, the A24 Comp. We're going to film a step-by-step guide on how to build the bike. It should only take you around 15 to 20 minutes to do so. First thing we're going to do, we're going to get the bike out the box, set the parts aside and go from there. So the bike's out the box, the parts are all aside. We should have one front wheel that you're going to need a pump for. Both front and rear, you're going to need to pump the tyres up. Then we should have one seat. You're going to have the front number board with 4 zip ties. You've got your user manual. You're going to have charger, battery, toolkit, 2 foot pegs, the bolts for the headset plate, and then also 4 bolts for the foot pegs. Okay, so we're happy that all the parts are there. We've got the bike out the box. We've removed all the packaging. The first step is going to be put the handlebars on. It just makes it easier to complete the build a little bit later down the line. So what you're going to need your headset clamp. You're going to need the 4 bolts to go with it, the 4 silver bolts, and then you've also got a 5mm Allen key to do so. So next step, we're going to put the handlebars on, untwist them, make sure that they're twisted the right way. Sometimes they come and they're opposite. So we're going to line everything up, make sure that the front lever and the rear lever are crossed, and then we're going to get the faceplate on, and then put a couple of bolts in. So we've loosely put the 4 bolts in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the handlebars so that they're center in the stem. Once you're happy with that, now obviously you can adjust these later on to suit your son or daughter, but what we're going to do, we're going to grab our 5mm now. Once it's centered, we're just going to nip those up evenly. So front, back, and try and make sure the gap on the actual top plate and the bottom plate is actually even, front and rear. What you would have also noticed while you've been putting the handlebars on, you'll notice 2 sets of keys here. Now these are to release the battery. Now it's a good idea to put one safe, and then obviously the other one you can keep on your own car keys or somewhere that you know that you're going to be able to get the battery off. Now if you're stood at the front of the bike looking towards the rear wheel, if you look at the left hand side of the frame, you'll see a little key slot there, and that is going to be how you release your battery. Next step, we're going to put the seat in. Now we're going to flip the bike upside down in a minute to put the front wheel on. So what I like to do is have the seat a little bit higher, just so it levels everything out and makes it a little bit easier to do so. So the next step now, we're going to flip the bike upside down. But what I always like to do, probably don't need to, but I like to, is just grab a little bit of packaging out the box, and then we're just going to protect the screen, just to give it a little bit of a cushioning when we flick it upside down. Okay, so the next step, we've got the bike upside down now. What we're going to do, we're going to need a 5mm Allen key, and we're going to take the axle out and get it ready to put the front wheel on. So if you just loosen these off, they should already be loose, but you might just find one might be tight. And once you've ensured that the 4 pinch bolts are undone, we're going to grab 5mm Allen key again. We're just going to undo the cap nut, and then what you can do then is you can just push the axle out and go from there. Now what you'll also see inside the caliper, you'll see a little plastic insert that separates the pads. It's a good idea. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get the wheel in with that in, but it's a good idea to keep hold of this for whatever reason you might need it in the future. Okay, so the front end's ready. We can put the front wheel on. So I've got the axle. Now, if you've got some grease spare or handy, just grab a little bit of grease. I mean, you don't need to really, but I like to if I'm building a bike. It just makes it easier to get out in the future. And then we're going to slide that in there, just right to the edge, doesn't need to go any further. So now we're ready to put the front wheel on. Now, I always find it's easier to come from the top, guide the disc down in between the pads. It can be a little bit fiddly. You might find that you need to push down on one of the stanchions just to line the axle, give it a little tap, and then you'll notice that the axle doesn't actually go all the way through. So what you've got to do, push down, you've got to line it up. It is a bit fiddly, take your time. Line up the hole, and you'll find in a second it'll go through and in. Next step, we're going to put the axle end cap on. So now it's really important you don't over tighten this because it's really easy to round off. What I always find, just nip it and then just undo it, nip it, just so you know that you're not over tightening it. And then I'll show you the trick on how I like to do the pinch bolts in a second. So before I do the pinch bolts up, I always like to just make sure everything's aligned and the stanchions are sat on the axle square. So a good trick to do that, just pull the front brake lever, push down a couple of times. That should square everything off, and now we can do the pinch bolts up. Once you're happy that everything's square, you're going to grab your 5mm Allen key. I'm just going to nip everything up. We'll do it this way. Just pinch it so it's tight. Same on this one. And then if you do the same on the other side as well, and then you come back, just pinch it, pinch, pinch, pinch. There you go, and same on the other side. Okay, so next step, once you're happy the pinch bolts are tight, we're going to put the front number board on. Now, before you put the front number board on, one thing that I like to do, you've got the suspension bump stop so it doesn't catch the frame. So you might find them up here, you might find them twisted out like this one here, but this one here, look, is perfect. So we're just going to adjust this one so that when the suspension or the handlebars are turned, that's what touches the frame and not the suspension. Next, put on the front number board. Now, this is really fiddly, probably one of the fiddliest jobs going. We're just going to make sure all the cables are in the middle. So we don't want to trap any in the zip ties. I'm just going to nip one in just to start off, just to hold it in place. And then same on the bottom. Again, as you can see, it's fiddly, but I think it finishes the look of the bike, I think, when it's finished. And then same on the other side. Making sure that we're not trapping any wires. And then once you're happy with that, you've got it into place, nothing's trapped, you can just nip those up and secure the number board. Next step, we're going to put the foot pegs on. So obviously, if you look on the end plate there, you're going to see R, and then the same on the other one will say left. You're going to grab your 4 bolts, you're going to need 2 each side, a 6mm Allen key. You're just going to put them on. Be careful not to cross them. And then same on the bottom one. And then grab your 6mm Allen key and nip those up. Now, if you've got a longer one, a longer Allen key, it makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker to do so. So I've done that there. And then that's pretty much, once you've done the other side, foot pegs on, and we're ready to put the battery on. When it comes to putting the battery in, you'll notice if you look on one end, you'll see 6 ports, and then on the other end, you'll see the latch. Now, what we're going to do, you're going to have 6 ports facing down. You're going to put the bottom in first. And that's it, connected. Now, when we come back to the keys, if you want to release the battery, pull that there, press the latch, and the battery drops down. Now, you can actually charge the battery with it on the bike or out of the bike. If you look at the top by the latch, depending on which side you're looking at it, you'll see a little charging port there. Now, when it's in the bike, and you look at the left-hand side of the frame, you'll see a little rubber grommet, and you can charge the bike from there also. So once the battery's in the bike now and you're happy, what you can do, you can come over, let's test that it works. So we'll pull that off. You're going to hold the right-hand button down for about 3 seconds and the screen will come on. Now what you're going to see here, you're going to have mode 1. You're going to have your battery percentage. You're going to have speed in kilometers. And what you can do, there's 2 buttons, a plus and a minus. You press up on the plus, mode 2, and then mode 3. Now, on the first ride, I would always suggest just starting it on mode 1. Let them get used to the throttle and let them get used to riding the bike. Okay, so the bike is pretty much complete now. Now it's just a case of fine-tuning everything. One of the first things that I do is make sure that the handlebars are straight. Now, if you need to adjust those, what we can do, I'll show you how to do that now. You're going to need a 6mm Allen key. You're going to undo the pinch bolts on the side of the stem. So there's one on the left side and there's one on the right side. You're just going to nip those up, and then what you'll find, the handlebars will move. That's quite tight. There we go. Quite freely. Just nip that off. So once you've undone those 2 pinch bolts, what you'll find now, the handlebars will move really, really easily. So just grab the top of the suspension. Obviously, make sure your wheel is straight with the frame. Just give it a little twist until you're happy. Now, I always try and find the center of the frame and line it up with the center of this headset there. So we just keep moving. And then we check, make sure it's straight. Yep, I'm happy with that. And then we'll grab our 6mm Allen key again. We'll do those both back up. And then we'll go on to moving the brakes. Okay, so continuing on with the fine adjustments. What I'd recommend doing now is grab your little one, pop them on the bike, adjust the seat height. Then next, you're going to adjust the brake levers, adjust the angles so that they can reach them accordingly and make sure they can stop effectively. And that's it. The bike build's complete. You're pretty much ready to go. Oh, one final thing, tyre pressures. They should be around 40 PSI. Now, you can adjust from there if you want them a little bit harder, depending on what terrain you're on or anything like that. But if you've got any questions or you're unsure of anything, you're more than welcome to get in touch with us via our website. Cheers, guys, and thanks for watching.